Poor comprehension is one of the greatest contributors to conflict. Not feeling heard is one of the most frustrating feelings we have, and people will literally compromise their character to feel understood during conflict. It's one of the key reasons we yell and scream. People genuinely want to be heard. But it's more than that, because people can hear without listening, and they can listen without comprehending. So what we really all desire is to feel understood. And one of the biggest mistakes we make as listeners is that we withhold understanding for disagreement. So we only take the time to understand something if we agree with it. And what's crazy is that most of the time, our disagreements are a result of a lack of understanding. So if we would just take the time to develop a deeper understanding of an issue, we would actually be able to debate the merits of our own positions more effectively. But we live in a world where influence feels like manipulation, and we're afraid to change our thinking. And this rigidity has robbed us of intellectual discourse that's designed to make us well informed. But conflict resolution is a skill that's reserved for the intellectually secure. And if you want to improve your conflict skills, you have to be willing to hear, listen, and comprehend other positions, even if you don't agree with them. Allowing others to feel understood minimizes defensiveness, it demonstrates respect, and that's what opens the door for consensus despite contention. Did you know that poor comprehension is one of the greatest contributors to conflict? Not feeling heard is one of the most frustrating feelings we have, and people will literally people genuinely want to be heard. But it's more than that, because people can hear without listening, and they can listen without comprehending. So what we really all desire is to feel understood. And one of the biggest mistakes we make as listeners is that we withhold understanding for disagreement. So we only take the time to understand something if we agree with it. And what's crazy is that most of the time, our disagreements are a result of a lack of understanding. So if we would just take the time to develop a deeper understanding of an issue, we would actually be able to debate the merits of our own positions more effectively. But we live in a world where influence feels like manipulation, and we're afraid to change our thinking. And this rigidity has robbed us of intellectual discourse that's designed to make us well informed. But conflict resolution is a skill that's reserved for the intellectually secure. And if you want to improve your conflict skills, you have to be willing to hear, listen, and comprehend other positions, even if you don't agree with them. Allowing others to feel understood minimizes defensiveness, it demonstrates respect, and that's what opens the door for consensus despite contention.
All right, man. Great topics today. Let's go ahead and dive into it. How poor listening contributes to conflict. How poor listening contributes to conflict. Go ahead, Miss Shamonet.
Why do I have to be first? So yeah, I agree. I especially agree with that part about you only listen to the parts that you agree with, and you kind of, don't listen to understand the parts that you don't agree with. So I know a lot of people who do that. Here goes the teacher thing. I guess we're a little different because we actually have to try to understand people, especially when it comes to kids. But I mean, there's nothing that he said I didn't agree with. You just you gotta come back to me so I can get my thoughts circulated. But that's all I got for right now. But please come back. Okay.
Okay, I see you have a complex mind. Go ahead and finish processing, Miss Shamonet. Let me go ahead and let me go to Day West. What are your thoughts about that, man?
I definitely believe that poor listening contributes to conflict because it's been times that it's okay to take advice. It's been times that I should be advised to take another route towards things. Like I'm not an angel. It was one time I had was a little intoxicated and I was mouthing off at some people that were beneath me, and it went another direction than it could have just went rather than me just getting in my car and going on, home. So definitely listening can help out sometimes.
Okay. You said people that were beneath you,
Correct.
like children.
Like human beings. I did not say no sex exactly. I didn't say men. I didn't say women. And that's why I had that question if somebody felt if it was particular about someone. Because I feel like in general, I could put myself on a pedestal because I'm me. Someone but being beneath me. It's nothing wrong with feeling like somebody is beneath you. But my question was, are you feeling like a certain gender is beneath you? Because it was kind of direct.
Okay.
What's the difference between feeling like a certain gender is beneath you and feeling like everybody outside of yourself is beneath you?
Because what make you feel like you're above something like being particular? Like you can't feel like you can above all. You just
I
said that.
think they're both coming from the
Because if
same
I
space.
don't, that's bringing myself down, right?
Well, I mean, he could say back the same argument.
That's why I asked the question. I said, were you speaking and were you speaking in general, or were you saying that women were beneath you?
Well, let's say he did. He felt like women were beneath him. What's the difference between that and saying I'm above everybody?
I said what I said.
No, I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm just asking.
Different to me than being direct. Like women are beneath, because in society people already feel that way. Like feeling like you putting yourself on a pedestal and saying somebody is beneath you or something is beneath you is nothing wrong with that. But being particular, like a woman is beneath me, is giving, like I say, it's
arrogant,
giving hate.
But can't I make the same argument if you say I'm above all you peons? All of y'all are beneath me. Everybody.
I'm not saying nobody particular.
But
I'm not
just because you
nobody out.
No, you said everybody.
Or nothing like that.
You said you are, but I mean, I guess
my argument wasn't saying what he said. My argument was him being particular towards saying women are beneath him. Period.
No, that's why I asked the question. I just posed the question. What's the difference?
My mindset, if anyone being, and that's why I asked, was it a broad statement or if he was being precise? Because I don't feel like nothing's wrong with nobody being beneath nobody. I was taught that people are beneath you. You are beneath that a situation is beneath you. But him being direct, saying that women.
What's the difference?
Well, like
so
I think,
she's trying to
hold on 1 second, because I think something, just because you were taught something doesn't mean that it's correct. So I think that even when we are having these discussions, which it can be valuable, I don't think Sweeney is trying to necessarily come at you as an attack, but just to get your mind thinking a little bit deeper in what you're actually saying and the impact of what you are saying and how it may be affecting you. Because, like, how can you? It's like you're getting mad at Hink for saying that, and you're kind of saying the same thing. It's just not narrowed down, but you're saying something very similar, which can pose the same type of energy.
No, because that situation, nobody ever told you that situation, something bad is beneath you. A situation is beneath you.
Well, if you say the situation, then I think that's a little bit.
Yeah, we're not talking about
the situation.
No, I think it's the way you said. So I think that they're thinking that you said everybody's beneath you, but I think what you're really trying to say is in that situation, those people were beneath me.
Is that what you're saying?
That's why I was saying situation is the perspective. Like I keep repeating myself and say the same thing, so it's kind of like.
No, hold on. I mean, this is good. I mean, just like I think they're asking you for clarification, and I don't want you to feel a certain type of way, because like this can help you in the long run as far as articulating yourself.
I'm not feeling no type of way.
Right. So like a lot of times people are misunderstood because they can't articulate the point, or they kind of give up because it looks like it's all coming down at once. Right. Say exactly what it is that you mean, so that they can understand.
I'm not like, oh, y'all are the scum of the earth. Y'all are beneath me. All humans. I'm like, if y'all are, if I'm in a situation with you and the situation is beneath me, you're beneath me.
Okay. Right. So I think that's a better understanding.
She's not saying everybody. She's saying situational. I figured that's what she was trying to say.
Well,
that's
different.
Lower vibration individual putting me in a low vibration situation. You're beneath me.
So, but do you understand in that moment? Again, this is just only for for clarification, do you understand how if you don't articulate yourself, and this goes not just for you, for anybody, if you don't articulate yourself well enough or get your point across, you will be misunderstood. Well, this is how conflict arises. And that's why that's why he asked a question before he went there for clarification. And so you can't take that in as an attack or that you said something wrong. Sometimes when people ask questions, people will change their stance on things, and they do it all the time on the panel because they feel like they're going to get attacked. So just stand on what it is that you're saying. Maybe it's to seek clarification. Don't always take the negative route. I'm not saying you did, but sometimes you got to take a little bit of moment to process some things and then respond. Because every time somebody says something, it's not necessarily an attack. Sometimes it could just be their tone. But you don't know them long enough to even understand if this is just them or if this is just for the moment, is they attacking me. Just slow everything down for a little bit, collect a little bit more data, a little bit more information, a little bit more sounds, and then kind of go from there. So I think we can move on. I just want to just highlight
I
that.
definitely didn't feel attacked. I was answering his question to my best ability because that's why I asked Hank questions before I asked him, and he definitely clarified that he was talking about women are beneath him.
But he was asking you a question, and you just kept taking it back to Hank. So it was just like when you kept asking Hank the question, Sweeney's question still was never getting answered.
Because it's where it all started from.
Right, because it didn't start there. You took it there, but he was specifically asking you a question. Okay, but you gotta prioritize that thought, right? If he asked you something directly, he's talking to you. He's not saying anything about Hank. He's just asking your stance on how do you, and then he kind of tied it in, but he asked you a question. So answer his question first, and then I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just trying to get you to understand how communication works on Earth, right? How majority of people may look at dialogue back and forth. Now you have some people that create their own how they process things, and I'm not gonna do all of that. But like most people, I won't say most, I think a lot of people interact in a certain way. And if we are seeking to understand more, then it can reduce conflict, which is why I have this topic. Like nobody's right or wrong right now. In this moment, we're just saying how exchanges happens and seeing how we can get better at communicating. But we also got to get better at listening and understanding. It's just not everybody can talk and they cannot be saying anything. But if you articulate yourself in a certain way where it reaches that person, then you can be understood, and then maybe some growth can happen after that. But they first got to understand. If you're just talking and you're not even paying attention to see if Swink or Henny is even engaging what you're saying, then how could you know if they understand it? Some people just be talking and the crowd is zoned out. Everybody falling asleep up in the congregation because it's boring or you're not saying anything. It happens all the time when people just ramble and then you see people scratching their head. Start looking at the clues. People scratching their head. People are confused. Sometimes you can't talk in the air. You got to look at your audience and see what it is that they're giving you, because you might got to do an audible at that point, or you might have to go read some more books to get a little bit hip to understand how to articulate yourself better to be able so that people can understand. So communication is just so many sectors in communication that I don't think that we understand. And so this is not an attack. This is a learning moment for everybody, including myself, because I had to learn that. I had to pay attention to folks, and I just wanted to keep talking and not even listen to what people were saying. So as long as I don't invalidate their feelings, I can understand your feelings, but I don't have to agree with you. I'm not going to sit here and argue whether you felt that way, because you might feel that way. I might have came off that way.
Well, that was a master class of the actual topic. That was a master class of the topic at hand.
Oh, it's not over. It's not over. My time is coming.
All right, let's go ahead and keep it moving. I got off track, man. I'm talking too much. Y'all go ahead.
Let balance go.
I wanted to answer the question that we were speaking about, because I feel like we talked a lot about the panel today and not the actual topic, but I'm going to get back to it. And what has worked for me in my relationship is when it comes to poor listening, this is a skill that can be developed. I say this all the time, but in my relationship, we came up with something that works. So I want to share it. talk to each other, and then we'll say, hey, say back to me what you think I said.
Mm-hmm.
Say back to me what you think you heard.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it would be opposite of what you actually said. It's like, how did you get there from here? Like, this is opposite of what I said. So then you have to reiterate, say it again, and then make sure you say it. Maybe you're not explaining yourself that well. That happens. So then you say it in a different way and then say, hey, now repeat to me what you think I said, what you think, what you heard. And then once you get it right, it's like, okay, all right, now you're understanding what I'm saying. And vice versa. He'll, say it to me, I'll repeat it back. And he's like, yes, that's what I mean. Or sometimes he's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. And I'm like, okay, let me shut up and listen better. Because sometimes it could be you, sometimes it could be the other person. But the goal is to understand what the other person is saying. It's not to be right. So if we realize that is the goal, understanding is the goal and not being right, then we'll get further on this panel and in life. We'll get right there.
Facts. Yeah, I think she just hit it on the head.